What's up, everybody? Woo! Another training video. I am TJ McClellan, broker of Fitness Realty. I am excited to be here. We are reaccomplishing the Dotloop video as requested. I am so excited to get this rolling and get this video on our training platform and have it be something that you guys really want. So, without further ado, let's start talking about Dotloop. Pay no attention to all the loops that I have going on right now. They're up there on the screen. Sorry, y'all. Alright, so everybody on the team has an account with Dotloop that is a licensed realtor, and I'm excited to give that to you guys, and I'm hoping that you guys can get a lot of valuable training out of this video and utilize Dotloop to its fullest potential. So let's start. Your Dotloop is going to look very similar to this. There is a way to kind of convert this to make it look like the way you want it to look. You could have it in a list view. You could have it in a compact view. Kind of like a grid view, just to make it so it's big and bold and there's something to look at. So first off, let's kind of look at your account setup, okay? You'll want to go into your account settings first and make sure that those are all set up and make sure that everything is accurate inside of those details, because that will help you in Dotloop and it'll actually pull and set up things differently based on what you've got in your account profile. So you can see I've got my name, email address, all of the things listed here. You could put in your NERDS number if you want to. I've never found a reason to do that. And then set up your time zone. Here's my address. Everybody on the internet, you know my address. Everybody can find me if you need me. Then I've got profiles over here. You guys won't see the admin. You'll have your profile listed here. You can put your license number, the office ID number if you want to. You can find that on the MLS for our office ID. I've never put it there. Let's see, company, this is not actually accurate anymore, so let me change that. Then you can see notification settings. You could turn these all off if you didn't want any notifications from Dotloop. Document preferences, I like to have it in blue. Sometimes that doesn't really work on the AOR forms. It's only if you load it on a different form and then you actually get to see the blue. Otherwise, it's in black. Messenger notifications, you can see I've got the app pushing notifications to me, email and text message, so that I never miss any opportunities in Dotloop for when my clients sign a document or they have questions or they write me on whichever one of those platforms. As you can see on your guys' Dotloops, you will not have an upgrade button either because I've given you all premium accounts. Lastly, they have apps that you can link to. Right now, I only have it linked to the Premier Agent status on Zillow. Not that I'm a Premier Agent on there anymore because I stopped paying for that lead service because it was obscenely expensive. But this does give you an opportunity to have it linked to your profile on Zillow. So if you wanted to ask your clients for a Zillow review, you can do it straight through Dotloop. So you finish up a transaction, send them some... You can send them some review requests right straight from Dotloop. Alright, that's all about the profile. Make sure that you get yours set up and accurate as to the best of your ability. Here is a reporting feature. I tend to not use this reporting feature too often because it's not accurate for us because we have so many loops going on and off, and my mom runs a lot of our loops as well, so this one's very inaccurate for me and I never even come and look at it. But if you like looking at a reporting detail about your loops, this is a great way to do so. Alright, let's go to tasks. Alright, so there are a lot of tasks that you could set up for yourself. You could have personal tasks, you could have overdue tasks, completed one, and all tasks. And then you could see loop tasks, which are items that come up in each loop. You can see I've got a lot that are assigned to me. These are really, really old, so that it's just things that maybe I set up a loop and it didn't complete. So there are a bunch of documents that just never got signed because they either stopped looking or they didn't want to push forward with me, or they used my mom after maybe a week or two or whatever. So there's a lot of tasks you can see in here. I don't usually use the function of the tasks inside of Dotloop. So if you find a way that you like doing it, that would be awesome. And you could report on that and tell us all how to use that and how we can benefit too. All right, let's go to people. You can see I have a huge list of people in here. I'm not going to scroll the whole thing. Hopefully you guys don't want to write down everybody's email, but it's out there. I don't add people to this list unless I add them in a loop. Otherwise, I'd be spending so much time updating this list of people in Dotloop, and that would just take a lot of time. Whereas I always have my Google Contacts running, and that's where I update all of my people that I know and talk to. All right, moving on to templates. This is really kind of where some nuts and bolts of Dotloop go. You can see in documents, we'll kind of cruise over documents a little bit because when we get into the loops, you'll actually see how these are utilized. But you could set up your own templates if you wanted to. Fitness Realty's got templates already set up, so you don't really need to do that. But if you find a way that you like utilizing Dotloop better and you want to make your own template, you can definitely do so. The templates that Fitness Realty has loaded for you are buying documents, listing documents, property management, if you're already in that arena. And then the last one is the Utah AOR interactive forms, which is the one that comes from our board and has all of our documents listed there. That has like real estate purchase contracts, buyer broker agreements, and all sorts of things. Any random document that the board has is going to be listed in the Utah AOR forms for us to fill in the blocks. So those are the documents that are, or those are the document templates that you could make or use. Now let's look at tasks. I have written 2 checklists. One is a listing checklist, one is a buying checklist. Eventually there will be a property management checklist in here, but it's just not refined yet. Oh, excuse me. So you can definitely see I've written these checklists to have many items to jog your memory or help coach you through a transaction. What's cool about the checklist is it's not really a start to finish checklist. It's really like a, hey, I am working on a buyer, and or let's say we're working on a buyer right here and we've already discussed the buyer's needs. Cool, have buyer pre-approved. Oh, well, we're going to do something different here. We're going to do set up buyer on an MLS, or set up the buyer on the MLS, right? So there's not really an order. It generally goes from start to finish, but it's not set up to be a checklist of here's a step-by-step, right? Because every transaction is different. You can go straight forward sometimes, you can go sideways, and you can go backwards on some of them a lot of times. So this checklist is just built to give you a guideline, not even a step-by-step. And then lastly, clauses. We don't have anything in there, so there's just nothing loaded. All right, let's get into the loops. This is the meat and potatoes. I'm going to get a drink of water real quick. Stand by. You probably saw my messy bed. I haven't made it. All right, so getting into the loops, this is the meat and potatoes of it. So first off, let's go through what this kind of does on this main page. You have an activity log. This will show you things that you've clicked on, signed, and all sorts of stuff. Notifications, of course, everybody knows what that is. You can have filters set up so that you're only looking at loops that you care about at the immediate time. Or maybe you're looking for a certain loop. You could type it in here. I tend to not have any of my archived loops showing and closed loops because once they're closed, they're finished. And I just push them off of this page so that I'm not looking at them all the time. I like to sort mine by closing date. That way I'm working on the ones that are closing earlier. And I'm always aware of what's going on with those loops. And then, like I said, here you can change the grid and the view. So let's start a loop. So we go to add a loop. Let's say we are going to do let's do a listing first. When I do a listing, I like to do a listing under the address, right? Because every document that you touch as a listing agent is going to be for that house. So let's use my address. Let's just say me and my wife are going to sell our house. Oh, look, this is ran by Google Maps. So I can just click that. It loaded all the data on there. Sweet. Loop template. This is where we can go in and say, well, what type of loop template do I want? This is going to give you features that just get loaded automatically because I've already set those up. So this is a listing. Continue. I could upload a photo if I'd like. I tend to never do that. But if you like photos and colors, then go ahead and load one. Now, before we move on from this page, I usually like to just set a couple things up. That way I don't have to set them later, and it's just right here. So status, this is a pre-listing. It's not even up on the market yet. Enter price. Let's say my wife wants to start at $399. Enter a closing deadline. Let's say, this is pre-listing. We don't even have a contract yet. So I'm just going to go out 6 months or whatever I just clicked. That way I know, let's say the listing agreement that you're going to take, the exclusive listing agreement is going to be a 6-month listing, or maybe it's a year listing, whatever you're going to take. I usually start with that closing deadline in this little circle. Then we go, all right, view loop. That's going to be good. Now you can see we have a lot of the documents preloaded already. Let's give you a rundown of what this does here. We could go back to our loops if we needed to. Here's an activity log if we wanted to see what we've been doing. I never use this setup easy offer. This is a way to set up a button that people can send you their offers without even communicating with you. Just don't like that feature. I want them to email me the offer and then submit this whole loop for review. That would just be sending it to me or the administrator to review this loop for accuracy. We don't have any mandatory submissions for review. Of course, when you close, I just check your documents then so I can pay you. Let's see, we got the address and listing for sale, pre-listing, view details. We could go into this view details and see so many details about the property. We could put in there square footage, the bedroom count, topographical stuff, geographical things about the location, all sorts of stuff. I tend to not put a lot of that detail in because really we're trying to get to the contract stage. So we want to do the documents first. This little flag is going to be your notifications. This little one is messages between people that you add to this loop. You can see if somebody has a question, they'll type it in here sometimes. I tend to just get texts from clients, or I will receive phone calls from them or whatever. All right. So you can see over here, some of these are required. I made these required in the template so that if you're running a listing, you should have these 3 documents for sure. You'll definitely have more than that, of course, especially if you get to closing. But these are the ones required by me for you to cover your bases. So let's see, we have listing documents. This is a folder. We have folder here, folder here. You can add a folder if you'd like. You can add a document to this folder. You can move these around if you want to. You can see right now, none of them are shared, but they're always shared with the admin. The admin always has rights over seeing all of your documents. Something that you'll see over here is not a function to delete anything. The only way to delete anything from here is that, there's not an option to. The only way you can make something disappear is to archive it. So let's say this lead-based paint disclosure. This is a brand new house. We don't need a lead-based paint disclosure. Well, we can archive it. That's it. You can't delete anything once it's on here. So be careful of what you're putting into Dotloop, but make sure that you're covering your bases and make sure that all of your documents are square. Now we have a little button up here to show archived. Oh, let's check that out. Oh, never mind. This house is it's too old. So let's unarchive that. Let's use lead-based paint disclosure. No problem. Okay, so that's pretty easy. You can always see these three dots. They do have a lot of options. We could open it, rename it if we needed to. We can make a copy. History of the document. This will be more pertinent with signatures and things when you start seeing people that are signing it. We could print that if we needed to, download it. Signature verification, I've never used that. If you're sending it to your clients and they use their email to sign it, they've done a good enough job. Because at the end of the day, when we get to the closing table, that's when they're going to wet sign the whole package and sign for the house and close. These documents are very, very important, but they're not as important as all the documents that are signed at the closing table. All right, so before I even get into the documents, right, this was just a general overview of what this looks like and how to operate this kind of the Dotloop scenario. But before I get into actually getting into the documents, I like to put in the people that are going to be associated with this loop first. I wish they would move this up to the top, because really putting in the people is the first part of this job, or first part of this Dotloop or this loop setup, because it makes it easier to autofill the documents, and you'll see what I'm talking about here in a minute. So let's add some people. First, I'm going to make myself the listing agent. Sweet, another listing. Then I'm going to add a person. Let's say I'm going to add my wife. Okay. She's going to be a seller. I could send her an intro email right here. I tend to not do that. And then I never even fill out all this stuff, because you should have all that contact information on your Google Contacts or your iPhone or wherever you like keeping your contacts. All right, so I've marked her as a seller. Sweet, I'm the listing agent. The admin, you can see, is always on here. There's no way to even move the admin. I'm not sure if you can change this title. Oh yeah, you can change the title. Well, it won't matter anyways, because I'll be able to see all the documents. All right, we've loaded our people. That's awesome. If you needed something from a local service provider, we do have some listed here, but as you all know, we have a list for service providers that's way, way longer than this ever could be. You know, we have probably maybe close to 80 people on that service provider list. So utilize that list extensively, and here some of them are loaded into Dotloop. Oh, now you can see there's a task list down here, or a checklist. So the listing checklist is loaded automatically for you. So if you ever lose your way during a listing, it's right here. Maybe we'd review tax record, quality CMA. There's there's 14 hours of training videos that help you walk through how to do so many of these items off of this list. Okay, well, let's see if there's anything at the bottom that we missed. And nope. Okay. So before we even get into any of the documents, you can see Dotloop is super, super easy to use. I mean, this is lightning fast, an easy way to get your documents signed, and just really a great platform for you to have all the control on your documents and all the control on your loops and particular files, right? This is a really easy way to use for a file system. I prefer Dotloop over paper documents all day, every day. So for me, this works out really well. All right, let's just take a look at what an exclusive right to sell listing agreement is. There is a training video all about representing a seller and utilizing a exclusive right to sell listing agreement. But in here, I'm just going to show you how to use Dotloop for this document, not the document itself. So this is the autofill box. Like I said, this pops up on every document, and when we talked about the people, see how the person's already loaded in here? If I had not loaded the person first, this autofill box would pretty much not do anything for you. So seller 1, I've made Mitzi. Seller 2, nobody. Listing agent's going to be me. I could fill out of this stuff if I want to, but let's just autofill because I tend to fill in the document as I go. All right, the company, Fitness Realty, seller, Mitzi McClellan. Seller's agent is me. Let's say we're going to take this all the way out until the 30th day of October, 2019. The address is loaded already. We're going to do a sweet 8% listing. Charge my wife a lot of money. Oops. Fill in NA right here. Protection period of 1 month. You can definitely watch the other video about helping sellers and determine your own protection period. Oh, you can see page 1 of 4. Mitzi's got a little box down here. It's assigned to her. Nice. Assigned to sellers. So I want to make sure that she signs on the left box. It doesn't really matter. It's just personal preference, but I assigned this one to nobody, so nobody can touch that one. Scrolling down. Oh, got to fix it again. And you can see the internet is slow. Load. All right, there we go. County records, right? Let's say there are not any attachments. Mitzi is not a foreign person. Just kidding. Yep, got to fix this one again. Nobody. Okay. Fix that again. Sweet. Okay, I'll sign it in a second. No one. All right, let's kind of use some of the buttons here. We could save this if we need to. This would save it to a folder. Saving it right here just saves it on the platform, right? This would save it to, oh no, that does the same thing. They have 2 buttons for that. Okay, that's different. I did not know that. I thought this saved it to your desktop or wherever. I guess you have to download if you needed to. We could print it if we needed to. We could put another signature. Say we needed another signature here for Mitzi. Okay, we don't really need that, so let's get rid of it. One thing you're going to use a lot is adding initials at the bottom of pages. So let's put Mitzi's initials right here. Sweet. Oh, just kidding. Nah, we don't need that. So let's get rid of it. We almost never need to use strike through. I have used it maybe once on a document. Typically, our forms are written so well that we don't need to do any striking through. And also, to legally do that, I believe you need to be a lawyer. So don't be striking through anything. All right, let's. If you wanted to go back to the autofill, you could pull this window back up and autofill anything you needed to do in there. We could review notes, show tasks, see the document history, or host in-person signing. I never use that. I just send it to their email. All right, let's save. Save. Oh, there's nothing to save. That's right. All right, I'm going to sign. Yep. All right, that's me. Got it. Now, something cool. I never even fill out this date because Dotloop timestamps it. This date at this time, Central Time. So that's awesome. So if you ever had something that was time sensitive, you can definitely see when a client signed it, when they touched it, right? So this makes it really awesome. I love Dotloop for timestamps. All right, let's save and share. So I would send this to Mitzi right here. And when I'm having a client sign, I always put can sign. I never leave them the option to can fill and sign, because then they could fill out blocks that are assigned to them, and I don't want them to do that. I want to make sure that they have the easy time just going through, reviewing the document, signing it with their finger, and submitting it back to me. So I always use can sign for clients, unless you really love to do these other options. I have never given anybody else the editing rights to edit in private, so I've never used this at all, and I've never used can fill and sign because I prefer this option right here. It makes everybody's job easier. Now, that being said, Oh, well, let's see. I would put can sign. If I needed to add somebody down here, maybe I would add me for me to sign, right? I'm on the deed as well. Then I'd enter a custom message. Hey, Mitzi, thanks for meeting with me. I'm so excited to list your house. Here's the exclusive listing agreement that we had talked about. Just need you to sign this so we can get the ball rolling. Blah, blah, blah. Whatever you need. Now, when I'm sending to a client and they're going to sign, I never attach PDF because then they might get confused to print it out, sign, and scan it back to me and send, which would work, but is really, really slow. So I never attach a PDF when somebody has to sign it, because if I don't send it with a PDF, they don't get the idea of printing it. Okay. Now let's switch roles. We're going to send this to a lender. Let's just pretend Mitzi's a lender. Lenders never need to sign anything from us, so I always put view only. This is going to send them a copy of this loop. Now, when I send it to a lender, I attach a PDF because them logging into Dotloop to download the document is slow. So I just send a PDF with them because there's nothing for them to sign. So they get a view only, and I attach a PDF and just zip, and that's it, right? Okay, I'm not going to actually share that because she would go, we're selling our house? Oh, she wouldn't be happy with me. All right, so that is how to use documents in Dotloop. So there are tons of things that you can do inside of each document. Now let's kind of show some other tools on this page. So if we wanted to add a folder, right? Let's say we got an offer. Let's say all offers on week 1. Because we had a bunch of offers. Okay. So now you can see I just made a new folder. Oops, let's not have this one. So I don't want this new folder that's down here. So archive, and it's gone. Now we can add documents, right? People are emailing me offers all week. I browse for those. I put those on my desktop or wherever I'm going to accurately find them. I load them to Dotloop as a PDF folder or a PDF file. And then the documents are on here forever. They're always going to be there for you to review, or if you get audited by the division, they'll always be here for you. I've never used this attach a file from an email. I just tend to move the document to a folder and then use browse. Now, if we needed a template item, these are where the templates are that I mentioned earlier. So you can go down to Utah AOR Interactive Forms. This has all those documents from the MLS that I was talking about. Oh, let's say we definitely need a 1031 tax exchange because they are going to move the money into another piece of property. So we just copy that into our folder whenever that happens. Okay, now you can see we have a document here to work with. So we could do the same things that we just did on the other document, and we could go in here, add signatures, add initials, get all the address correctly, everything loaded on that document, and then we could share it with whoever we needed to. So you can see it's super easy, right? This is really, really easy for anybody to use. All right, let's run a buyer's template really quick so you can just see what that looks like. Let's add a loop. Oh, let's say Mitzi wants to buy a sweet rental property. Oh yeah, she's gonna be buying. Maybe I'd upload a picture of her if I wanted to see right here. Oh, maybe, yeah, I'll do that later. Okay, we're creating the loop. Jeez, this hotel internet is terrible. All right, so she's going to be purchasing. We are in pre-offer stage. Let's say she wants to buy a rental property that's $200,000. That's rough to find, right? Let's say I'm going to be getting her to sign a 6-month contract with me. We're going to be looking for a home for 6 months. It's probably not going to take that long, but who knows? So we just run out here. That was probably way more than 6, but whatever. So let's say on my buyer broker agreement, and there is a training video all about how to fill out a buyer broker agreement. But let's say we're going to work together for 6 months, and hopefully we can get something together. And if not, then hopefully we can get another buyer broker agreement, or maybe she's going to move on to somebody else. But let's say for the time being, we're going to work together for 6 months. Now we go in, view loop, just like last time. Now you can see all the a lot of the similar stuff here, right? Oh, one thing about a buyer's loop. The reason I put their name for a buyer's loop is because every document you touch is going to be for that buyer. You may write 100 offers. Can you imagine writing 100 loops based on address only? Ugh, that'd be terrible, right? So listings are always under the house because under the address, because every document's going to be for that house. Likewise, if you're representing a buyer, every document you touch is going to be for that buyer. It could be for 100 homes, like I said. So put their name for a buyer. If you do it that way, I promise you it's going to be a lot easier. Now you have all the same tools that we just had on the listing loop. So first off, we'd come in here and add people. Right? Now I'm going to change myself to buying agent. There is a task list down here, or a checklist, whatever you want to call it. These first 15, you could see there's a whole array of orders that it could go. So you can definitely tell the checklist is not meant to be step by step. There's no rhyme or reason in how to set up something from step 1 to step 150. So I've put a checklist that just gives you guidelines, right? So use this checklist. But the buying one is different than the selling one. All right. All the same functions in here are on the buying loop or the listing loop. So I won't go over those again so we can keep this video a lot shorter than last time. Okay, that is basically all the options in Dotloop. This should just make your life so much easier. I'm going to get rid of these and archive those so we no longer have them. And boom, they're gone. All right. That is how to use Dotloop. Dotloop is an awesome, awesome platform. Dotloop should make your life easier, should make things fun, should make your documents really easy. Your clients will love you because they can sign it with their fingertips from their phone while they're camping, and then everybody wins, right? Everybody gets to have an easy time making things happen and making sure that their transaction runs smoothly. So this has been another training video by me, TJ McClellan, Broker Fitness Realty. Hopefully you get a good handle on Dotloop, and hopefully this helps you make sure that your transactions are more smooth, and hopefully your documents will end up in there, and make sure that they are, make sure that make sure that you're utilizing Dotloop to the fullest potential that you have. So, as always, like, share, subscribe. Love you guys and love this team. Can't wait to continue to share the success with all of you. And as always, I'm signing off. All right, later.